All right, my friends, let's get your guitar solos sounding better immediately. All right, let's talk about the steps to do that, and sort of like some more examples and staying to the end to really hone the skill of telling a story with your guitar solos. You want to think of the notes that you are playing as words. You want to build phrases, then more interesting phrases, and paragraphs, and so on. Now we're telling a story. What we get locked into is learning the pentatonic, let's just say, right, as dots on a diagram, right? Now, I'm not saying that you need to know it's A, C, D, E, G, right, all the way up. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is we need to understand them as notes and how those notes interact with the chords that are being played below it, okay? So let's just take the scale as a whole, all right? If I have my scale and I want to say something interesting, all right, what I don't want to do is keep landing on the quote unquote answer. We want to build up a little bit of a story and a little bit of a tension, a little bit of an arc. And we can do that with just two phrases, okay? If I have my scale, I have a 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. That is the numeric spelling of the minor pentatonic. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7. Then it starts again. 1, flat 3, 4, 5, flat 7, 1. Okay? Flat 3 there at the top. Those ones, 5th fret of my E string, 7th fret of my D string, 5th fret of my high E, that sort of ends our phrase, and we feel like we're at ease. We've resolved. Right? It gives us just like a nice sense of ease. It's our tonal center. The notes that are right next to that root note, okay, the flat 3 and the flat 7, are sort of this idea of like close, but not close enough. So it makes us want the root note a little bit more, right? So I'm just going to play the bottom 2 strings here, okay? 8, 5, 8, 5 on my E and my B string. Now that 5th fret of my E string is my root note. That's my settled point. If I want to build a little bit of an arc, right, and then lower that arc down to a nice resolve, I can play a lick that ends on the 8th fret of the B string is my flat 7, because it's right before my root note. That's the note in the scale that comes right before the root note in our minor pentatonic. And then the 8th fret of my E string is my flat 3, the note that comes after in the pentatonic scale. So we have our root note and the notes on either side, close but not close enough. I can play something very, very easy. Not that hard, right? 7th fret, or 8th fret, I'm sorry, on the B, right? 5th fret on the E, go back to the 8th fret on the B, and then 2 8th frets on the E. Same thing. And resolve it. I'm going back down to that root note, okay? That is how easy we can start building a little bit of an arc and then resolving it. All right, it doesn't have to be that hard. Playing a simple few note phrase that gives us that tension, the close but not close enough, and then resolving it down. And we can do that wherever we want in the scale. Now, why am I picking just those 2 strings? If I take all of our other options away, right, all of our other words, right, of this scale, even if I start moving up to another position of the minor pentatonic and so on, now I really have to focus on just those quote unquote words, right? Just those notes, and building that arc up and down. So that is a great place to start. You can do it all over little parts of the scale, right? Oh, that's my flat 3. And then same exact lick, I just happen to resolve it there, right? There's my flat 3, that's my tension. Play the same thing and resolve it. Then you can start getting a little bit more creative with playing a lick. All right, that first one, it ends on that flat 3. That gives me the tension. But then I play a completely different lick, right, to resolve it, right? I'm getting a little bit more creative. Okay, great. I'm starting to understand this now, and it's becoming more musical. Rather than rambling up up and down, which is usually what we do. Oh man, I need the next position of the minor pentatonic. No, we got to scale this back. We're going to be able to make music with just a couple of notes. The next thing that we want to focus on is how rhythmically you're delivering this phrase. Okay, so now not only are we not going to focus on, or I guess taking like the 6 strings, right, 2 notes per string, pentatonic scale, right? We're not even going to focus on the bottom 2 strings. We're just going to focus on 1 note. Now, the reason we're going to focus on this 1 note is we need to make our solo rhythms interesting. Okay, the rambling up and down the scale, right, is not just we're not coming up with compelling phrases, but we're not coming up with compelling rhythms. It's just 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, right? How we're going to create these rhythmic phrases and make them interesting is some strong beats, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some weak beats, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? We want a mix of those both, right? If I have my metronome, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. We want to mix those up. Start by putting a metronome on, okay, and just picking 1 note, the 8th fret of the bottom string. Sure, it doesn't matter what it is, and coming up with interesting rhythms rather than worrying about the notes that you're going to play. That's my tat right there. Pick a different one. Right? Some on the downbeat, some on are on a weaker beats, and moving that even not solely on the 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, but the 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and, right? Picking those cool rhythms, right? You don't need to know what they are, right? Just if you're tapping your foot, some of them are going to be on the foot tap or on the metronome, and some of them are not going to be on the metronome, right? And they don't have to be hard. That last 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I didn't even play that. I played, right? Just those 3 notes, not the lead in, right? So you don't have to know where those lie, just that some of the notes are going to be on the downbeat, some of them are going to be not on the downbeat or where that click is. Then you start putting it all together. Now I'm taking interesting rhythms. I mean, you think they're not, it's fine, but more interesting than this. I'm trying to break out of that pattern, and then adding the tension, the release, the tension, the release to that, and then I'm continuing. Now, if we can do that with just a few notes, as we're adding more musical concepts, more modes, more positions of the pentatonic, opening up the whole neck, adding different harmonic structures, so different things happening in the chord changes, right? Modulating, sweep picking, tapping, whatever it is. We're adding to a foundation of speaking through the guitar a musical language, right? And this is not just dots on a diagram, okay? And that's what we really do in our 12-week fretboard fluency course, right? Guitar mastery course. If you are interested in breaking through this intermediate plateau, right? If your guitar solos feel like they're not really speaking to you and definitely not your audience, you can click on the link below to schedule a free call, right? And see if this course is for you. And it just takes our intermediate guitar players stuck in that plateau and like bridging the gap between their creative ideas and what they're able to play, right? A lot of times if you're in a jam and it's your turn to go, right? You know what you want to say, but that's all you got, which is not coming out the way that you want. We go all over the fretboard, becoming fully fretboard fluent and sort of speaking the language of music through the guitar, and communicating something, which is what our favorite guitar players are doing. If you don't know what you're communicating, you're not communicating anything, and your guitar solos fall flat. So click the link below if you're interested, and book yourself a free call, and I will see you in the next video.